This is a webinar by FIAPO on all things about practicing sustainable living. And we have a wonderful speaker with us, Meghana Adhikari. I have worked for as long as I have been in FIAPO alongside her. And Meghna is just amazing at sustainable living. She's amazing at whatever she does. A little bit about Meghna is that she started her career as an advocate at the Murthy GFMC court, and driven by her passion for animal rights, social justice movement, she turned around her path towards movement building for animal rights. And with FIAPO, and currently she's managing the capacity building program at FIAPO. Her experience as a vegan and an activist and a professional for animal rights goes over more than 9 years. Meghna has marvelous practitioner skills of sustainable living, which she's going to share with us today. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for taking all the time, Meghna. Your colleagues, I do know it does look like there is, no time at hand, but you still made it. So thank you for that. And as I thank you, I also want to tell the participants that this is a webinar in mode. So if you have any question, you can type them either in the chat box or in the Q&A box, and we will take them towards the end 15 minutes of the session. With this, I give it over to Meghna.
Thank you so much, Sarita. And hello to everyone. So nice to see you all. Thank you so much for joining. So I thought of taking my laptop outside my garden and doing this live session. It's urban forest is what we call at our home. But now, I mean, it's practically not possible because there's vehicle passing around, there will be disturbance. And it's also raining heavily outside now. So yeah. So, yesterday when I was thinking, I have to present a sustainability talk, and this thought came to my mind. Is this even a talk, even a topic to discuss? Sustainability, practicing sustainability. I think this is something every one of us have to do very instinctively, right? I was like, do I have to even talk about this? But then I thought about myself, maybe 5-6 years ago, how I was. Even during when I was studying in the college, I'll give you one example. I was studying, I was studying for my graduation, and I used to live in a hostel. And I'm sure most of you all who have studied in college and stayed away from home, lived in a hostel, know that how bad the hostel food is. So there was this supermarket right outside of my college, and that used to be my second home. Every day I go there, I buy all these snacks and whatnot, and get to my hostel, and I fill my stomach with that. And I used to do it every day. I didn't bother what these packaging are, what are the ingredients, what kind of processed food it is, all of that. Now, if you ask, did I care for environment back then? Did I care for animals? Yes, I did. I was an animal lover. I did care for environment. But all of these actions just happened just by itself, because everybody are doing it, and nobody is really questioning ourselves or others' actions. So it just happened. But yeah, I will share my journey, how this thought of being conscious and my actions, how does it matter, all of this came through. Before I start, I don't want this session to be sort of me giving a talk, like a speech, and you are listening. This is not all of that, because all the information relating to sustainability, you will find it on internet. I don't have to tell it. Maybe you would know more than me. This would be more of, this 1 hour of session would be more of self-reflection, and in you and me, all of us, understanding what is that, how is that we're contributing to the nature. Let's keep this platform as a self-reflection, to be in short. So let's get started. I'll be sharing a presentation. Even that presentation is sort of to take us through, this journey, like a journey of a self-reflection. So let me start with this presentation, and I want all of you to stick with me until end of this session. Do not leave in between. Do not leave me in between. Yeah, I hope you all can see my screen. Okay, so all about practicing a sustainable lifestyle. Can you see this board where it says, please take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints? I'm sure you have seen this board while traveling, if not at least on internet. So how much of this we inculcate in our daily life? Maybe we inculcate while traveling. Maybe we are a very conscious traveler. We don't leave trash wherever we go, especially while traveling. Maybe we might buy one mineral bottle because we kind of forget to take our own drinking bottle. So we might just buy one mineral water bottle, which is of plastic, single-use plastic. Other than that, I don't think we do leave any trash while traveling. At least this is what I assume. But what about our daily day-to-day life? What are we doing in our day-to-day life? How much of trash that we are leaving behind every day? This is something that we need to question. And the journey, now that we are talking about sustainability, we will be directly coming to that point. I know the way we are leading our life is, probably it will be hard for us to immediately bring that change in us. But let me tell you, there will be, a kind of discomfort, irritation. I don't want to make these changes. This is so hard. This is not possible, because we have been fed the comfortness. We have been fed to be comfortable in whatever we are. That's how we are programmed and marketed and conditioned. But let me tell you, this is my personal experience. When we come out of this and literally put an effort to make that change and bring that change in ourselves and surroundings, we learn, we grow, we become better, and above all, we feel very good. And I believe that is extremely powerful feeling. So when this is something comes to my mind whenever we talk about living trash, whenever there's so much of pollution. What about our future generation? I'll give you one scenario. I come from a place where during every function, especially wedding functions, there is a serving of food. The lunch happens in banana leaf, and we all know banana leaf is a very, very sustainable way of eating, and it decomposes with the land very well. But lately, I'm sure you all have experienced this. Along with banana leaf, they give this water bottle, small water bottle, mineral water bottle, the plastic bottle. And I see everyone is not questioning about it. It's on our face, the plastic that we are using. And then one side we are eating food from banana leaf, and the other side there's one plastic. This disconnection that I see is so much that we are part of the system and we are not questioning it. And especially in a wedding function, like wedding happens, two people coming together, and for maybe if they choose to have a family, then what about them, right? It starts from there, right? It starts from that event itself. So these are the things that we don't question, and we are part of the system, and we are not questioning because someone else is doing it. Let me not question it. So that is the thought that we need to come out and really start questioning from today. And let me tell how I started questioning my actions. So a few years later, when I turned vegan, after years later, I watched this documentary called Cowspiracy. So my reason for going vegan was not to contribute for the animal suffering in any form. Eventually, when I saw the Cowspiracy documentary, which was relating to environment, is when I realized my actions, not even though it didn't involve suffering of animals directly. I avoid as much as possible by being vegan, but there were so many other ways that I am contributing to the destruction of the whole ecosystem, many ways. So this transition, the thought process didn't happen overnight and suddenly I turned out to be a zero waste person. This transition, this started off with the questioning of my own actions, and eventually led me to lead a sustainable lifestyle. So I'll be sharing my journey, and my journey could be different. I just want to share with you all, everybody's journey could be different. Someone would be doing it in a level of zero waste. Someone could be in a stage where I am. Someone could be just starting, or someone could be, not even thinking about it, in a thought process of, I don't care. But we all of us are important. All of us, whoever are in this different thought process, all of us are part of this system, and we all are important, and we all need to start questioning that action. So when I read about, when I saw this documentary Cowspiracy, and then how they spoke about animal agriculture, again, I only knew about the ethical aspect, and then when Cowspiracy documentary showed the realities of how it affects the environment, was actually very eye-opening. As it says, a threat to 24,000 of 28 species at a risk of extinction due to agriculture, and 77% of planet's habitable land is used for animal agriculture. While 770 million people stay hungry, only 18% of world's calorie need is met by animal agriculture. So when it's mentioned as 24,000 species or 28,000 species, do we even know what are these species? I don't know. If you ask me, I don't know. I don't think I can even name 50 species. But I want to tell about one species, and a little bit of knowledge I have, and that is our humble bees, which is in a verge of extinction. And there's a lot of campaigns going on in protecting them. Recently, I read that, we are also protecting the bees. There are different varieties of, species of bees, but we are only protecting the ones which give us honey. We don't care about other species of honey, but they are all equally important to maintain ecosystem for pollination. So we all know the benefits of bees. So imagine, what about the rest of the 24,000 or 28,000 species that play an important role in this ecosystem, and they're all going extinct. Just by understanding the extinction of bees is only horrifying. So yeah, animal agriculture is one of the leading cause in multiple ways. 14.5% of world's greenhouse gases are produced by animal agriculture, which is hardly talked about. Yes, nowadays there is information, but yet this detail is not much out there. This awareness needs to be more and more out there, making people understand. And as you can see, 2.3 billion people face water scarcity. Global animal production requires nearly 242 GM3 of water per year. So yeah, these are the facts that you will anyway find on internet and more of such. Now, sustainable, I would want to start with my journey. And as I told, after turning vegan, I realized there was so many ways that I was contributing in a wrong way, not in a right way, in polluting the nature. So before I share my journey, I want all of you to be part of this and really understand that it is your journey as well. And me talking alone is not the point here. It's a collective effort. Of course, it starts from individual action. It might start from me, or it might start from one of you here, but it is definitely a collective action. A recent report of UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change also states that shifting from meat, dairy, and other animal products to plant-based food is best course of reducing carbon footprints and mitigating climate change. So, as said earlier, how animal agriculture is affecting our nature, that is something which we need to majorly concentrate on. Along with that, let's also see what are the other areas that, is our day-to-day life is kind of affecting the whole of ecosystem. It could be really small habits, but it is affecting the nature. And let's discuss that. We all know single-use plastics. I will give you one example. I think we all will relate with this. I have seen, not many times, I've seen a couple of times, the abandoned cows that are there on the streets eating plastic. I have seen it right in front of my eyes, and I see it and I think that I am also reason for this, because I also end up using plastic, single-use plastics. Maybe sometimes when I buy any product in the shop, I just end up using these plastics, and I don't know what, where this trash goes. Of course, we give it to the municipality, but we don't know what really happens. Does it really get recycled? Somewhere we need to be responsible. Even if that plastic was not thrown by me, I think it's a collective responsibility that we need to take. Me seeing that cow eating plastic and me feeling helpless is the saddest scenario that I have faced a couple of times. So yeah, these are the things that made me question. And second is chemically induced fruits and vegetables. Now, why does this happen? Like, why there is chemically induced fruits and veggies? Because the amount of chemicals that is being put to the soil and also to the fruits and vegetables that we grow is not something we are not aware of, yet we are part of this system. And especially when we talk about organic fruits and vegetables, most will be like, don't even talk about it, because it's impossible to bring this change. Third is eating processed food. Eating processed food is harmful in so many ways. Let's start with our own health. It's being normalized, first of all, and it's being packaged, it's transported from across the world. We have access to processed food from across the world. You would then understand that, through the transportation also there's pollution. So eating processed foods, using products that contaminate natural resources. Now, how natural resources, as in, when I mean, for example, the detergents. I'll give you one example to this. Whenever I see let's give an example of apartment, and I say, for example, there are 200 houses in that apartment, and what do? Each house people, they will be washing their vessels. They will have a washing machine to wash their clothes. There are products to clean, floor. Multiple, all of these cleanings and daily usages of detergents and soaps and everything, that all comes from a chemical. And where does these chemical go? These all go into the landfill. And that's, imagine, like 200 family in apartment is doing that. Everyone are doing it. And I'm just giving you an example of just one apartment, and this is being done across. Let's focus on India right now. This is being done across India. So you can understand the amount of effect that is happening to the soil with this. Wasting of food and fresh water. I have read 8% of greenhouse gas emission is from wasting of food. And in return, it's also, there's contamination of fresh water as well. I read this quote that, we would not know the value of water unless and until the well is empty. Well, nowadays we don't even get to see the well, but at least this is very relatable, because we get this water from the tap or from the aqua RO water. So we think that water is something magically coming from from nature. Well, it's alarmingly at a scarcity rate, and it's so important for us to think all of this. Last one is hoarding and buying everything one can without thinking. again, this is something because of the way we I think my example of me being in a college and going to that supermarket and literally buying everything that I can is a very good example. We just don't think, question. So let's change our relationship with the planet. Now, as I said, our journey could be very different. It could be very different from what is mine. Where the place where I live could be very different from the place where you live. Situations could be different. Our life is different. Our career could be different. But all of us, what we need to think is, what we need to do is to start where you are, to use what you have, any resources that you have, and do what you can. That's the simplest way that can be put. It's not something to go beyond and maybe go to an workshop and attend and get yourself equipped. No, it's just from the basic, what you can innately think of doing. That intention needs to start from within. So this is a very good and interesting example that I want to give. Now I want all of you to go to future just for some time, and imagine in future you end up not using kitchen at all in your life. There is no kitchen. If you can see the image in the left hand side, there is two apartments. One is Swiggy and there's Zomato, and the person trying to sell it to the couples is telling us there are 2 bedrooms, hall, and no kitchen. Well, I sometimes feel this is not even future. This is happening right now, right this moment. Pretty sure we all are part of this. We end up buying Swiggy. We think of cooking, but then we are so lazy that we end up ordering from these apps. And no doubt there's huge number of trash coming out of it, while we could have just sustainably cooked at home. But no, things like, no time, work pressure, no time for personal life. There's multiple reasons, why we end up doing this. But this is something we need to question. Maybe today we wouldn't see the impact, but this is going to affect us in the future. So let's think about, the art of home cooking is something not to be lost, and something we have to just inculcate in us in our everyday life. Now let's start with the few of the things that we can practice, and this is something I have started doing. I wouldn't say I will use the word we, because it's not just me, it's with the support of my family. In fact, it's my family who has started. My contribution is very less. One is we have started composting at home. Recently I went to this one camp in Coorg, nature oriented camp, and I met a couple of families from Bangalore. And I was really, happy to know the different types of composting that they were doing at their household. As you know, Bangalore is a metro city and the house space is very less. The point is not, okay, I live in an apartment or I live in a village. The point is, wherever you are, our food scraps shouldn't go in vain. It is something, it's a nutrient for the soil, and it needs to be composted, and it needs to go back to the nature. Let's say it's more like we take from nature, we need to give something back. And I think composting is a very good example. I will show the video later on, and we'll be showing you how the composting and other form of gardening that we do at our home. So few of the benefits of composting is reduces food scrap waste, good for kitchen garden, soil holds more water and needs less watering, cuts off the need for chemical fertilizers, reduces methane emissions. So most of us are not aware, I'm sure, the food waste that goes into the land without composting actually emits methane gases. So that's also one of the way that we are polluting the environment. And yes, creating your own ecosystem. If you see that image in the top, the lawn, you may have seen such lawns literally everywhere, right? This is something, it's a fashion, it's something like trending. You can see this plain land everywhere. I feel it's more of like, it has nothing to do with the protecting environment. It's just that a treat to our eyes. Our eyes instinctively like seeing green, so for just for the namesake we make a lawn. But these lawns don't help our ecosystem, they nowhere help us. While the other picture that you see in below, this is something we want to create. This, it might look messy, it may not be, you know, as fancy aesthetic as the one which is in the above, but this is what we need. This is something will help the nature. With this, I want to share about the urban forest that we created at our place. We have 3 cents of land where we have, initially it used to be a lawn just like this. And we thought of taking off that lawn and creating a urban forest. Let me play that video for you all. Just let me know, Sarita, if you can see.
So my hometown is 35 kilometers away from Mangalore city, but we still live in a semi-urban area. Our house is in middle of the town, and the model that we followed is a Miyawaki forest model. It's an urban forest model. It's a Japanese technique. So you can see here we have about 35 varieties of plants, trees, and flower plants. So we have henna mehendi tree, blue pea flower. We have avocado tree, and we have drumstick tree. We have coconut tree. Lot of people ask what is aracanut. So that is aracanut tree, and then we have hibiscus flower. So the little space that you can see here where we have dug is used for composting. And once the compost is ready, the same fertile soil is used back to the land. Other trees I would like to mention, there's cashew tree, bale tree, there's neem tree, there's cinnamon tree, turmeric plant, tulsi, curry leaf. The place here, because we don't have much land area here, it's just 3 cents of land. We have about 35 plants, and this is grown in about 2 or 3 years. Some of them don't yield fruits as of now. I'm sure like avocado will yield in another year. Avocado is also called as butter fruit. So this is just outside of our house, and you can see there's cashew nut tree just outside of our house. And yeah, this is how it looks.
So yeah, that's a little bit about our urban forest. It's a Miyawaki technique that we came up with. In fact, we never knew about this technique. It was we thought of creating we had a lawn, plain lawn, and we realized that this is not something we want to do. Even though it was a small land, it didn't really matter. We just wanted to create a lot of plants there, and that's how we ended up planting plants just here and there. And then we realized that we are doing it wrong, and we kind of did some research, and we got to know there was this there's this Ramakrishna mission in Mangalore who have been doing Miyawaki technique of urban forest. So the idea of Miyawaki for urban forest is you create forest like model in just a small space. And now you may ask, what would you do if we are living in an apartment or somewhere else where there's no space? Then for people who are in apartment, there will be space in the ground, right? I know a lot of apartments who have very good garden, but that is all made with lawns. Maybe people who live in apartment can talk about Miyawaki, urban forest, and create a urban forest in your areas where there's apartment. And there's also in Japan, there's another technique called green door. So that is, you can Google about it. That's also a very good model for someone who lives in a small space in apartment. So yeah, so let's continue with our presentation. And there's something more to talk about. Let me just share the presentation again. Srita, you can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So also I want to share that if you heard what I said, like all the trees that we grew were all native. There was nothing like a fancy trees. All the trees that were very familiar to us, because they are all native plants. Native plants or trees help in retaining the soil intact. In fact, they helps in avoiding, while there is flood, they help in during the floods a lot. And we see the sad state, just everywhere there's a lot of floods happening. So this is something, maybe a long term vision, but this is something we have to start from now. Right now is the step that we need to take. I also want to show you this the spider that you can see in the first image. It's I never knew what kind of this spider is, but I saw it for the first time in our urban forest, and I had to literally Google image it and find it out what species of spider it is. So it's called a signature spider, and you can see this white signature on four sides. So the specialty of this spider is, it has its own signature basically. And we have, in our urban forest, as I told, we live in a middle of the town, and there are bees coming, and they're creating their home. There are even snakes coming to our garden. All are non-venomous, nothing to worry. Even if it is venomous or non-venomous, there's nothing to panic. Um, uh, in fact, snakes coming to our place is actually a good sign, because that means there is a good ecosystem that's being created. So it's actually them thanking us for for whatever our efforts is. Next is switching to an organic household cleaning product. I have already given you the example of an apartment where 200 families live, and everybody are using detergents and whatnot to clean their house, clothes, floor, and all these. Where does these chemicals go? It goes to the landfills, and it actually goes to our stomach, to be honest. We then the soil just gets deteriorated, and the vegetables and fruits are grown out of it, and we are technically eating it. So soap nut water is the answer. I am sure you all would know this genius little what to say, nuts. I mean, I'm in love with this nut actually, because it has changed our lives, and we've been using it for 2-3 years now. And I want to show you all how how this soap nut water is created.
Washing vessels, machine washing clothes, and mopping and washing of bathroom, toilet. Even for the cleaning of fridge, we use this. Literally for everything we use this soap nut water. And this excess that is there, this can be used again. This can be used 4-5 times again, and equal amount of soap nut water will be ready. And this is the one jar that we have specifically maintained to make the paste out of it. Okay. So we buy a big stack of soap nut, and this comes up to 2 months for us. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Sanjay ji. So yeah, this is a soap nut water for you all. This is what we use in our daily life, literally for everything, as I said in the video. And it's been such a life changer. I will give you a live example of this. so the water that being the water that is used like while washing vessels, the water is directly connected to our garden, to the lawn. And earlier we had just two, as I told, it was just a lawn before, it was not urban forest. We had just two coconut trees, and that coconut tree were in bad shape, they were not yielding coconuts, it were just in a bad shape. And then we switched to soap nut water, not to change the soil fertility, because we thought that we are using too many chemicals, we need to change our habits. And then we shifted to soap nut water, and the soil of our lawn drastically got changed, it became more fertile. And now you can see it's flourishing with so many plants, and soon they will all be a strong tall trees. So that's the change that we were able to bring in our own. And yes, shop organic, shop local. Whenever I talk about organic, this is my experience. Whenever I'm talking about organic food, eating clean food, eating fresh food, eating food which isn't chemically infused, I have just got this reaction that we can't change it, it's impossible to change it. We are into the system, we can't change this system, we have to eat whatever is there. So this thought process is something first needs to be changed. Change is possible, only if we look for it, only if we take that action, only then it is possible. We can't just assume things won't change or things won't happen. So like it's mentioned here, our food system is dysfunctional if we have to pay extra to eat healthy and toxin free food. So there's this thought, right? I'm sure when I talk about organic, we get this thought in the mind that we have to pay extra, it is going to be expensive, it is something we have to go to supermarket where there's a board with organic written, and we have to like it has actually become a luxury, it has become so elite, the word has become so elite. But don't you agree with me that organic clean food is everyone's right? It's just a basic right that we all need to have, and it's high time that we question what we eat, what we put into our body. So shop for organic food, shop for local food, and few other sustainable practices that I follow. Before that, I would like to also talk about telecommute to work and events. I think most of us are now working from home. This is one of the sustainable practice that I think we are already doing it. And I'm sure life has gotten much better for ourselves and for the nature. Talk to local vendors about organic produce and seasonal vegetable fruit. Now, how many of us go to vegetable market and really talk to the person with whom we buy? We just buy the vegetables and come back home. We don't ask, is this organic, or what is this, is this vegetable infused with chemicals? Of course, even if we ask, they would say no or yes. It depends on the person to person. But the point is to really question about what kind of food that we are eating. And always talk about ask for organic food, ask for reach out to the middleman, maybe reach out to the directly to the farmer, go to what is this farmers market, where you will get to meet the farmers directly and let them know that you want organic food. That is when they will also work for it. So it's basically demand and supply is what we have to do. And carrying a cloth bag when these are the basic things that we have to do. I mean, this is something we should be doing it. Homemade soap, menstrual cup, and cotton pads. So if you see the image, you can see that black powder, right? It's a charcoal made from coconut shell. This is something we at home we use for washing, cleaning our teeth. So one of the greatest invention. I'm not saying this is our invention. This used to be practiced by our ancestors. Unfortunately, we are now headed to using toothpaste filled with fluoride, which is affecting our brains. And really, we need to really see how these packaged products are affecting our health.
Thank you, Meghna. Thank you so much. It was a very practical presentation. I think a lot of things to learn from and a lot of things to take back into our personal lifestyle. And we do have a lot of people mentioning that simple habits go a long way. They are happy to learn about these practices that you are doing in your home. Somebody's also shared that they make bio and science and they're ready to provide if anybody needs any. It would just be a call away. There are a couple of questions here. Somebody's asked, how can we change a parent's mindset and make them reduce or go to zero waste?
Okay, good question. Also a tough question to answer. I think if I have to say my experience, there is no much role to play. It was my family members who were kind of more eco-conscious than me. Even the urban forest that you see, there was 0% contribution from my end. It was actually my family members who did it. But I will tell you what was my contribution. My contribution was talking about it. My contribution was constantly talking about what are the effects, and not like preaching. I'm not going to my parents and telling, see, this is what happening. I'm not preaching them. It's more of like sharing my fear, my concern that we are just exploiting the nature, sort of making parents understand that it is affecting me. How it is for parents. If it is affecting their child, they would think about it. If it is disturbing the child, and I'm sure it's genuinely affecting you, all this, and you would want good for yourself, your parents as well. So try to really open up and talk about how you feel bad about it. And that is when your parents might just kind of connect, and just for your sake at least, they would try to inculcate these changes.
Thanks, Meghna. Thank you so much. We have another question. What can we do with the plastic that we have in our homes? My parents hoard, oh, it looks relatable. My parents hoard all the old electronic items and things, but it's just lying around in our store.
What do I say? I think you need to figure it out. I think it's a individual person needs to figure it out. You know it's bad. You know that if it goes out there in the landfill, what's going to happen? I personally feel it's something we need to figure it out ourselves. What we do, even at our home, it's the same story. I have given big bhashan about sustainable life, but there's a lot of single-use plastics, because that's just, we are there in that system. It's a journey, and we need to cut down our usage. Maybe reuse them, and reduce, or if maybe just look for more options, think creative, get creative. Don't even look for Google, just you yourself get creative. Maybe you'll find a better way of doing a better way of finding a solution to it.
Thank you. Another question is, how can I make homemade soap and toothpaste? What is the alternative?
Alternative for what?
I'm guessing it must be the alternative to the regular one that they're using. They buy and
Okay.
the toothpaste.
Yeah, as I told, alternative is homemade. What you make at home is an alternative, and it's actually not alternative. It is something we used to do earlier, maybe 40-50 years back. Soon there was this globalization, and things have changed drastically. Homemade soap, YouTube is your friend. You can buy these soap base, organic. You get even organic soap base, and use them for making soap. It's very easy, super easy. We use just our garden leaves. You saw that green soap that we made, right? It's from the garden leaves that we got, and we made it. And yeah, Google is the answer. Charcoal, tooth powder, very easy.
Thank you, Meghna. Another question is, what are some simple switches one can make or start with their daily life towards sustainability?
Oh, it's a very good question. If you ask me, I'm a big advocate of soap nut water. Please start with soap nut water, and it is very easy. It might sound impossible, I understand, because immediately you go home and you say that, what, from now on I want to wash my clothes with soap nut water. They will be telling you that you're ruining the clothes. What about the white clothes? There will be stains. I will tell you, we've been doing it for like 2 years now, I think more than that. My clothes are fresh than ever, clean than ever. And in fact, there's a lot of less usage of water also because of the soap. You need to use a lot of water to take off that soap from them, like the detergent that we use. But for the soap nut water, very less usage of water. And we all know the water that we use for washing vessels or clothes is also fresh water. So we need to be very mindful. So start with the soap nut. Buy soap nut from your nearby place. I'm sure it won't be available because we don't ask for it. There's no demand for it. Create a demand, or just buy from neighboring state or city. Just figure it out and start with soap nut.
Okay, and we have a lot of questions here. I'll just try and select some. Which one is better alternative, bamboo or steel oblique metal? I mean, between bamboo or steel metal, what is the better?
Bamboo is a better alternative, no? Any day. Something, and also it's like supporting the bamboo business. I guess if you ask me, bamboo would be a better alternative. And I had read this Assam is flourishing with the bamboo business, and it's a very good news. They are even creating cycle, from bamboos. So go for bamboo. We have already enough steels. Bamboo would be a good choice.
Thank you. How can one compost at home? How effective is it?
Okay, I would suggest you all to follow few pages. There are few of my favorites. I will mention now, or should I just type? Maybe Sarita can type.
I can add it. You can mention.
Yes. One is, these are the pages that I follow and I've got a lot of information. One is Worm Rani on Instagram. And she's also part of NGO, which is based in Bangalore. You can even volunteer. I have applied for volunteering, although I don't live in Bangalore. They are seeking for volunteering even from remote places. So it will be a good chance for you to learn as well. Worm Rani Vasuki composting. And what else? These are the two pages that I follow. I think Worm Rani is the only solution. She does it wonderfully. And eventually you will find more people. Once you start, researching about it, you'll find people who you would relate more and follow them.
Thank you, Meghna. Somebody is asking twice, I think they've asked. You mentioned about some Japanese technique, Miyawaki technique. They need more info on it. You can talk about it.
Miyawaki technique was initiated in Japan. I am very much fond of Japanese techniques. Our whole family is fond of Japanese techniques. I'm not saying that there are no methods in India. I guess the ecosystem practices that has been happening in India is lost. People have forgotten what it is. But other Asian countries, they still follow the cultural, traditional way of preserving nature. Miyawaki technique is basically, see, now there is no rural life. We all have moved to urban areas, semi-urban areas, but the nature remains the same. We need to retain the land, and we need to retain the soil, fertility, and nature, ecosystem. So the technique, Miyawaki technique, is to create an urban forest wherever you're living with whatever small space you have. Like the video that I showed, the space, although it might look really huge in the camera, but it's just 3 cents of land. And as I told, there's 35 types of trees in it. So it's creating urban forest in urban areas with little bit of land. And also native plants are grown, not like fancy plants. And it's form of planting in very near to each other. That's the technique. You can Google about it. Miyawaki is the word, and learn more about it. As this shortage of time, we will not be able to talk too much. But yeah, this is a technique that now you know. So yeah, know more about it.
Thank you, Meghna. Absolutely understandable. We are at 6 o'clock also. I'm sorry, everybody who's asked questions, and if I'm not able to take them up to Meghna. Just one question somebody's asked: is it possible to make soaps without caustic soda chemical at home?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Is it possible to make soaps at home without using any chemicals? They're specifically speaking about caustic soda chemical.
Yeah, zero chemicals. The soap base that you get, you can buy it from Amazon. Just type soap base organic, and the soap base doesn't have any chemical. And then you use any ingredients that you want, neem leaves, any leaves that you want, or any flowers, hibiscus, blue pea, and create out of it completely natural. Your skin will start glowing.
Thank you, Meghna. I think Shweta also raised her hand. Shweta, do you have a question for Meghna? Or no, I believe. Okay. All right, we've come to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much for being such a patient audience, everybody who's been here throughout, who's heard Meghna and given your time. It's a Friday evening. Most people want to, end work and go party. Pandemic has come down a notch and we want to live our lives to the fullest, but you chose to spend time to talk about sustainability and practices that you can take up at your homes. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much, Meghna, for taking time out to do this with us. And we hope to bring you more such sessions, more practical, doable tips and techniques that you can apply to home. So stay tuned with FIAPO. Keep joining our webinars. Keep inviting friends, family, colleagues to join these sessions. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.